Good evening and welcome to our concert. My name is Jasmine and with me are Megan and Rebecca. On behalf of the Goetz 6th grade band, we'd like to welcome you to an evening of festive band music.
JTV will be shooting tonight's concert and selling DVDs to take home with you right after the show ends. DVDs will be $15 and will be ready in about 10-15 minutes after the show is over at the table just outside of the auditorium.
The concert will also be streaming live tonight to JTV's YouTube channel, so people that couldn't make it can go to www.jtvlive.org right now, or they can watch it on Cablevision Channel 77 in Jackson.
Before the program begins, we would like to remind you of concert etiquette and protocol.
In accordance with conventional performance practices and in respect of the members and of the audience, we respectfully ask the following. Kindly turn off all electronic devices prior to the program beginning. If you need to leave the auditorium, please exit and enter through the rear exit doors between musical selections or during applause. The students have worked very hard for tonight's concert, and we appreciate a quiet auditorium while they're performing their selections.
Thank you and enjoy the program.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mrs. Fodor. I am the 6th grade band director at Goetz Middle School, and this is our very first performance for the 6th grade band. And we present to you a nice series of festive, holiday, and winter-themed music. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to have each section come on up. And we start with the flutes and clarinets. They're going to perform 2 short pieces from their book. Next, we feature the saxophones, the trumpets, the low brass, and then percussion on the bells. So without further ado, here are the flutes and clarinets. Those are the flutes and clarinets. Now we're going to have them go on stage, and we're going to bring out the saxophones. Okay, and next we have the trumpets. All right, next we have the, Next we have the low brass section, which features the trombones and the baritone horns. All right, that was the low brass section comprised of trombones and baritone horns. Now on stage, you see the percussionists coming in. They're going to perform their 2 songs on what we call mallet percussion, or the bells. So just bear with us as we get situated. We'll be right with you. Let's give another round of applause for all the sections of the band. At this time, we're going to have the combined band perform 2 small holiday songs, Jingle Bells and the Dreidel Song. At this time, we're going to feature some members of the 6th grade band who are going to come down here and perform with some members of the 7th grade band. And they're going to perform 2 songs, Santa Claus is Coming to Town and We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I just have to commend the students because the piece that they just played was something that was completely elective. They volunteered to do it, both the 7th graders and the 6th graders. They completely signed up for it. I didn't coerce or force anyone to do it, and we really got a great turnaround from a lot of 6th graders and especially a lot of 7th graders who I invited back to participate with the 6th grade, and they really did a good job of helping to mentor the younger students. So I just want to give all those performers another round of applause for doing such a fabulous job. Thank you. Next on our program is a piece called Up on the Housetop. Don't they sound great, the 6th grade band? Yeah. Here comes the part of the concert where we're about to get ready to play our last piece. And while the students set up, especially the percussionists, they have different stations they have to get to, different instruments to play back there. So I'm going to give them a little bit of time. And while I do that, I'd like to thank a lot of people who helped make this the production and the performance that it is today. And I always hope that I don't forget anybody. So everyone who, especially parents who helped with the dress rehearsal today. I know there were a lot of parents who came out to help with the dress rehearsal at the high school here this morning, and also parents who helped backstage. Thank you so much for helping. It's really great. You know, I can't do it alone, and you were such a big help and support today, also for folding programs. So thank you, parents, for all your help today. Thank you. Thank you. If I may just run through my list really quick of everyone and give a round of applause at the end for all these people. Thank you to the Jackson Board of Ed. Thank you to Transportation for bringing us to all of these kids, all 120 of them, to the high school, and myself this morning, and getting us back to Goetz. Thank you to the high school staff. Thank you to our school administration at Goetz, Mr. Perino, Mrs. Burns, and Mr. Ayers. Thank you to my colleagues for helping out, Mr. McCarthy, Mrs. Eisenschmied, and Ms. Katsoupas, as well as everyone who helped backstage. Thank you to our custodians, to the secretaries, to the teaching staff who let the kids out of classes. We have these pull-out lessons which I'm sure you know are weekly. They come out of gym, out of unified arts classes, out of different classes, and the teachers are very gracious and willing to let them out so they can continue to master their music and keep practicing their instruments, so thank you. Thank you to our lighting and sound technicians up there. Thank you to JTV. And I really hope I'm not forgetting anyone here. And I really want to give a special thank you to some people who helped me and helped this program, rather, when I was out on maternity leave for 2 months. I'm sure you're aware I was out from September to November, the beginning of November, on maternity leave. And I just want to give a big thank you to Mr. McCarthy, who took over my period 6 class, and he helped run rehearsal for period 6. So thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Please give him a round of applause. Thanks. And a big, big thank you to someone who took over my period 2 class, my period 4 class, and ran all the band lessons, starting these kids on their instruments from September up until the end of October, beginning of November before I got back. So I want to give a big thank you to Mr. Ficara, Mr. Eric Ficara. Thank you. Without Mr. Ficara and Mr. McCarthy, these students would not be able to perform what they're performing on stage this evening. They spent a lot of time with these students, and I could not have walked back into this program at the start of November if not for them and their hard work and their dedication to starting these kids on their instruments and making them the musicians that they are today. So thank you again to my colleagues for helping out in my absence. And to everyone who helped out in one way or another, thank you families for supporting these kids. Thank you for really promoting their love of music and for obviously financing these instruments and encouraging them to continue practicing and to continue in their music education. So thank you to all of you families for being here today, for supporting these kids in their band education. And if there's anyone I missed, thank you again for everyone who helped out tonight and continues to help out with our music program. Thank you very much. Oh.
Sorry to interrupt, but the Goetz 6th grade band and the PTN wanted to give Miss Fodor a gift for all of her hard work.
We wanted to thank you for all of your hard work and dedication you put into this concert.
We appreciate all the work and dedication you put into this band, even if we're not in this grade, for all the extra band practices and after-school help.
I don't know if I announced it, but also thank you to the teachers who helped backstage. I know I mentioned Mrs. Katsoupas, but also Mrs. Eisenschmied. I don't know if I mentioned you, Mrs. Eisenschmied, but thank you if you're back there somewhere. Thank you for helping out. And thank you for that very generous gift, ladies. Here's our last piece. It's called Hallelujah Chorus. behalf of the Goetz 6th grade band, I'd like to wish all of you the happiest of holidays. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you.